Hello everyone. So back with another new video, and today we are going to talk about something very consistent with the videos that I try to make. And today I'm talking about a little bit about the mind. Okay, I want to give you some my perspective about what I think about what the mind is, what kind of role it plays in life, right? And a little bit about marriage, and little bit about how the decisions you take in life impact you, especially decisions related to relationship, and something a little bonus about the word called sorry, and how I think over time the meaning of sorry starts to fade away, and how it becomes more and more ineffective, or how over a period of one's age, the weight sorry carries starts to decrease to another person. When you say sorry to another person, it matters what your age is, right? I'll try to give you a small story to explain what that means as well. So, I'll start with the first topic. Now, you might be thinking why I am saying this. So, one of the main things about me and my videos has been that I want people to decode life. I want people to decode the things that happen in their life. They to understand what the things are what things happen, and to understand the things more deeply. That is one of the um, you know things that are that thing is very close to my heart, to understand and to share the hidden layers of life, right? That could be happening, but it's not in comprehension to people who might not be looking at things at a more deeper level. So let's get started. So I was just thinking, okay, so I always wanted to encapsulate life. What do I mean by that is, I wanted to explain life in a single sentence. I want to explain love in a single sentence, and I'll always keep trying that. That's an intellectual challenge that has kept me on my toes, and I always try to give boundaries to to things which are actually beyond boundaries, right? But yeah, I'll try to make this attempt again. So life is an opportunity to experience a biological supercomputer, which is mind, which has two foundational elements, which is logic and emotions. We literally have two parts of the brain. One is specifically processing logic, and one is specifically processing emotions. We don't have we when we see the brain, we literally have two halves of the brain, right? And I want you to understand this deeply, that sometimes both of these two elements seems like two like they seem like opposite ends, and at certain situations they converge, right? So it is a really dualistic type. Like certain times you will feel that logic and emotions are two different things, and sometimes logic and emotion will just be the same choice, will mean the same thing certain times. So life, if I want to encapsulate it within just one sentence, it is an opportunity. Basically, what is happening, you are an eternal being who has been given an opportunity called life, and in this opportunity you experience everything between two boundaries. One side of it is logic, and on the other side of it is emotion. And between these two boundaries there are a lot of things which are mixed up. Sometimes you have 20% logic and 80% love. Sometimes you have 80% logic and 20% love, right? So these are a lot of blend, these are a lot of, we experience a lot of mixture of this emotion. Like there is little bits of some things, like some women just love with a lot of logic component and a little bit of love component, right? Logic component because they don't go after the looks, they don't go after physical attraction, they don't go out of, a lot of heart. They go with the survival instinct, which is very logical, which is a logical aspect, right? They go after survival. I need to survive, I need to live, I need to have offsprings. And who will be able to bear or take care of me and my offsprings in a better way? A person who is earning well, right? So this is how they are wired. Not all of them, most of them, or mostly that's how at least the Indian, no, I would not say Indian, considering everything has been so globalized and we see people, whatever. So was a small example of, not a very good one, but something which was very simple to my mind, to explain, or to for you to also understand. So the one concept which I wanted to share with you was the supercomputer with two components. This is something that you need to understand, that okay, life is an opportunity. I'm a supercomputer, and I have two two options with me: logic and emotions, and a mix. And these are not like two separate options, right? Sometimes they are separate, sometimes certain things are a mixture of, right? Sometimes when you do arranged marriage, right? What is arranged marriage? It is a little bit of logic, that you're checking everything, and you also have, you choose someone whom you're little physically attracted to as well, right? So there is a little bit of, logic is there, and a little bit of heart is also there. These are some simple example of, you know uh, logic and emotions, all of this. Now I was seeing a very very nice movie. Now usually, um, I'm someone who always tries to find something out of movies, okay? But usually, it rarely we get morals, or we get some insights. But yeah, I was seeing this movie, and I'm not someone who likes to make a video and just suggest movie or promote movies. But I will say that you need to see this movie. It is called The Assessment, and it's a movie which is about being assessed as, there are two people who are wanting to have a baby or have a child, and we are in a future, time period, where you need to get government permission before you have a child, and that there will be a person who comes to assess you. Once you pass the assessment, there will be certain chemicals, or certain fertilization procedure done to the women, and then you can have a baby, because there is a lot of radioactivity and all those things are there. And it's a nice movie, you need to watch it. and it gave me a lot of things to think about. One of the things that I want to share with you is this: we are moving to the second topic, which is called marriage, right? um, Marriage is like a pre-built track of life, so that you are able to manage your supercomputer safely. You will say that, oh my god, you just totally didn't make sense, what you said just now, right? So let me give you, I told you that marriage is a pre-built track. Okay, now let me give you an opposite situation, which will make you understand why I told marriage is like a pre-built track. And if a person is does not get married, wants to stay single, right, or gets divorced, or certain things, or they're not with some, in some form of relationship, a personal relationship, not something like a friend or something like that, a personal relationship, right, like a wife, a partner, it could be a girlfriend, something like that. If there is no personal relationship, what happens in life, right? What happens in life when there is no uh, personal relationship is that your supercomputer has a lot of time, right? And when you have a lot of time, what happens is there are moments when you are lonely. What happens when you're lonely? Your basic, there are three, there are you, when you're lonely, three, there are, I made this entire concept that when a person is lonely, there are three people there. One, you, which is your physical body. One is your logical body. And three, your emotional body. When you're lonely, you're sitting in a room with three people: your physical body, your logical body, and your emotional body. Now what happens is, when you choose a path, or life chooses a path for you, wherein you do not have a partner, right, for some reason, personal partner, okay, you do not have a partner, you're basically giving an opportunity for this supercomputer to explore into uncharted territories or go off-roading. Okay, and when you go off-roading, if you are someone who has control, if you're a good rider, okay, you can manage your logic and your uh, emotions. If you're not a very good rider, since there is no track or there is no control over your life, because when you're married, your wife would continuously keep giving you tasks, expectations, and she has a control or pull over your life, right? And that is, and what that happens is, many people, most of us, right, even I also, I disregard it, I just keep saying, oh my god, I'm so trapped. But I want you to understand that trap, that control, that limitation our helps us to keep our logic and emotions under balance. There is no extreme extreme things are not happening during marriage. Extreme logic, extreme emotions don't happen during marriage. In marriage, it's like, it stays within this limit. Okay, you don't get extreme amount of what is that, logical stimuli, or extreme amount of emotional or happiness or something like that. That does not happen. It does happen probably initially, but then it comes under a balance. Okay, but when you are not married, when you're alone, you're single, or you don't want to have kids, or some divorcee or something, what happens is, you are not following the societal limitations or track. Societal limitations, I am personifying that as a track. societal limitations, societal rules. What is a societal rule? Get married at this age, get kids at this age. Those are like a track. When you don't follow the track and you jump outside the track and go on your own path, what happens is you are taking a huge risk. What is that risk am I taking? I want you to explain me, Stress. What is the risk am I taking? You're taking a risk. Where? On what, sorry, on what aspects, right? On what aspects are you taking risk? You're taking a risk on your logic and emotions. When you go out off-roading, okay, who can meet you? There is no predictability, right? uh, you are basically going to have extreme experiences. Okay, you're going to have uh, extreme experiences, extreme emotions. Okay, and if you are not a person who has proper control over emotions and your mind, you can fall. What does falling mean? Die or severely damage, right? What happens to people who are, sort of like, they don't follow the natural course of life? They have extreme emotions. They can be continuously traveling and they'll find something so amazing, so beautiful, but all after a certain period of time, right? That is seeing something, finding or exploring something very good out of the blue. What happens? That's an extreme emotion. Some person who's living a normal married life will never get to experience something that is so wonderful. Once in a 1,000 years something happened, and that person was able to experience that when he was sitting all alone in his observatory observing some planetary movement, right? He was not at home, probably having coffee and seeing some Netflix serial, which is so insignificant. This significant achievement was achieved by whom? By someone who was all alone, and he experienced extreme, you know, logical uh, stimuli. And based on that extreme logical stimuli, he has to live a lot of, he has to keep that into memory, keep that into his achievements, and just look back into that and then live his life. Okay, I want you to understand what, see, I have made two sections. Okay, marriage and no marriage. Under marriage I have written continuous expectations from wife or from partner. Okay, I just want you to show how I have written it. So something like this. So usually, I barely write, and something down I want you to see is, here it is, probably I'm not able to see marriage and no marriage, right? I know it's pretty ulta for you right now. Okay, but I just want you to, understand how I have made it. Okay, under marriage, continuous expectations from wife. Okay, continuous, you will be learning certain things. Okay, and when there is continuous expectations, you're continuously involved in something. Okay, you are experiencing life, and all those experiences are under are very balanced experiences. There are no extremes happening in life. At least 99% of 99.99% 99.99% of marriages are, most of the time, 99.99% of the time, very balanced. Okay, sometimes little bit high fluctuations are there, but it's under control. Continuous expectations. Okay, you will be continuously learning something. Okay, when you follow the normal societal path, you become parents, you start teaching people. When you teach also, you are teaching and you're still learning as well, right? And this path is a balanced, on track, safe speed experience of life. Get this part very very intensely. in your mind, because this is like the main thing or the gist of sort of this video. Okay, marriage is a balanced on track. Okay, you have a track is built, balanced on track, safe speed experience of life. You're experiencing life, your entire life, with a very safe speed. What happens when you're not married? You don't want to have a partner, you don't want all these stupid shit things. Okay, what is, you're going to have extreme experiences. What does experience mean? Can you open? In experience there are only two possibilities. Okay, when you break down experiences, there are only two possibilities, because life is made out of only two things. What are the two things life made of? Logic and emotions, and in between is a blend of logic and emotions. Okay, what is going to happen to people who don't marry? Extreme experiences, extreme success, extreme amounts of success is going to happen, extreme amount of fame is going to happen, extreme amount of recognition is going to happen, extreme amount of intellectual achievement is going to happen, extreme amount of observations are going to, you can experience certain things which are not within normalcy of human beings. Okay, whenever you want to become spiritually extraordinary, what happens? People start to leave, you know, society or everything, all the normal things, and then they go off to the forest and all that. Extreme things happen, right? I want to say some sentence which is generally frowned upon, and it is opposite of uh, natural belief. Okay, naturally people say something ulta and something, and then I'm going to say some, naturally people say something and I'm going to say ulta of that. Okay, for people who are low, mid, and even high intelligence or something like that, especially, okay, let me just tell it in the way I originally thought of saying it. People say that stupid people should not get married. That's what they say, na? Ki, are stupid people should not get married. You're so stupid, don't get married. You're going to spoil other person's life. Actually, not true. Actually, I want to say this: stupid people need marriage more than smart people. Did you take this in? Take this in. Okay, it's more important for a stupid person to marry than for a smart person to marry. It's important to marry because it helps you to stay on track and experience life safely at a safe speed. Don't see, some experiences with some partners are not good. Okay, but don't take that into consideration as some people are very toxic. Yeah, then leave them, marry someone else, or try to be in a relationship with someone else. Some things sometimes don't work out. Sometimes you went to some place, did not like a particular juice, it does not mean juice is wrong, right? If you did not like someone's, I mean, maybe some form of biryani, it does not mean biryani is, or all type of biryanis are not tasty. It just means that that particular shop's biryani is not tasty, right? So please don't try to tell me that marriage has become toxic. No, not everyone is toxic. Not everyone is, you know, trying to kill you or trying to, you know, just take everything away from you or something like that. That does not happen 99% of the times. So try looking for more green flag people, whatever. So just take this in, and I just want to say that the stupid people need marriage more than I mean, if you're stupid you should definitely get married, right? If you're medium intelligence you should definitely get married. If you're high intelligence you should definitely try and getting yourself married, because there are, see, stupid people, medium, what, everyone needs a track. However, whatever you think of yourself, right, it's always good to walk on the national highway road than to just say that, okay, I am in Kanyakumari, I am not going to follow any national highways, I am going to make my own path and reach Kashmir. Okay, so for most of the people, I just want to say marriage is like the national highway. It gives you uh, a direction, it keeps you under control, and your most people are not able to understand that the supercomputer that has been given to you, the biological supercomputer that has been given to you, which is the mind, okay, which is the thinking and the feeling mind, right? The biological supercomputer, which is the mind, it can think and feel. Although we say think and feel, but yeah, I mean, you have to understand that I'm putting everything here right now just for simplicity's sake. Okay, uh, sometimes people can lose their mind. uh, Sometimes if you're not a very balanced person, if you're not able to balance your emotions, because of emotional things you can kill yourself, because of overthinking you can damage your brain, right? So don't think that the don't underestimate your mind. Don't underestimate that you need a track, that you need a path to life. Okay, don't underestimate life. People underestimate a lot of things. Okay, don't underestimate life. First thing, people will be like, what is life? I don't even know understand what is life. Life is the entire opportunity that is given to you, where you have breath and where you have a possibility of experience. When I say you're underestimating life, what I'm trying to tell you is that, um, this opportunity which has been given to you, you should be aware and careful that you need to make the right decisions. If you make wrong decisions in your life, right, that is what I mean by underestimating life. When you underestimate, hey, kuch nahi hoga, abhi to life hai, zindagi hai, all that, there are certain wrong decisions that it can take you in such a, I mean, as you age, the wrong decisions that you make, it is more severe. When you make wrong decisions when you're young, you will get thrashed by your parents, and it is recoverable. When you're a teenager, when you make wrong decisions, there is a possibility that your parents never find out, and there are consequences. When you grow from baby, teenager to adult, when you're an adult, you are the person who is the reviewer, you are the person who is authorizer, you are the person who is the chairman and CEO of your own life, right? No one is going to review your actions. And on the contrary, there are people who are connected to you. They are dependent on you when you are an adult. If you take wrong decisions, then don't think life is going to let you off easy. It is not. uh, Life is going to come back to you. I mean, like it'll hit you properly, like that's what I mean to say. And as you age, the decisions you need to be making need to be correct, because wrong decisions can severely, when you take when you are at low speed, when you turn, you can balance off. When you are at a very high speed, when your age is more, and when you do even slight small mistakes, those have strong implications, emotional implications. Those have strong logical implications, right? That's why when you're at a very when your age is very high, right, if you're even making small decent or good steps, the rewards are very high. When you're young, when you do anything good, the reward mechanism is negligible. When you're young, and when you do anything, try to do something good, people will be like, yeah, good, good, very good. Or sometimes people will ignore. When you when you grow up and when you do something good, people start to really clap, or really considering you're in the right group, people really start to appreciate you. You start When you start focusing on your self improvement, start focusing on your fam and all those things, right? There are a lot of things, I don't want to go into all of those things. uh, Small things, when you grow up and when you start taking care of those things, they start to really, and when you make small mistakes, those also, I mean, start impacting you. And majorly you might be thinking that I started with something and then I'm coming here, it'll all start making sense. Don't worry. And the one thing which I've realized, I said that I would be covering this as a bonus in the end, is sorry. When you're a baby, or when you're a small 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, say sorry to your friend, right? And it means a lot. They will A fight can be resolved, and everything gets resolved with a sorry, I'm really sorry, I'm sorry, and a hug can just do magic. It means it's it loses 50% of its value, sorry, when you go from baby to teenager. It's Sorry means only 50%, and there is a lot of unresolved emotions, unresolved logical, you know um bits left in the mind of the other person when you say sorry. There are more complex things like ego, revenge, anger, situation, all those things, right? When you go and when you cross 30, 35, sorry means just about 10% because of what it means when you are a child. It's just 10% of what it used to mean, right? When you say sorry to someone else, they will feel that you don't really care. Sorry is just another word. They will barely forget, right? When you say sorry, childrens forget that situation. When you say sorry, when you're a teenager, people may forget that situation over a period of time. When you say sorry when you're adult, like 35, people don't people will forget that you said sorry. Can you see the difference? People will forget that you said sorry. People will forget that you apologized also. People, that you put an effort there. So I want you to understand that as you age, your actions, whether good or bad, they have extreme amount of noise, right? Good actions, lot of praise. Little bit of bad actions also, lot of hate, or lot of negative consequences, emotional burden, and all these things happen. So you need to understand that. I told you, right? I'm trying to explain life to you, and this is sort of that. I built a lot of context around it, and now I'm trying to put it in pieces and try to give it back to you. So this is how it is, life, right? Now, this I told you about sorry and how sorry means less in all the three phases of life. And I have I'm close to 35, so I'm able to vouch till 35 sorry is totally useless. And if you want to make something better, if it was a certain action that made things bad, then a certain action can only be used to rectify that situation. Okay? Sorry means nothing after 30. I'm sorry to say this. So if you should take it as per your age, okay? Because if you're greater than 30, you should understand that I said sorry simply. And if you're very young, you should know that sorry means something. And if you're a teenager who's watching this, you should know that you have probably a few more years till about 30 to use sorry. Okay? So you should be happy about it. For people after 30, only action can help you resolve that situation. Sorry does not mean a thing. So don't use it, because it will not make the situation better. And that is the hack of life, that is the secret of life, that is how to play the game of life, right? I don't call it life, I just call it game of life, because we are all characters, and I like to represent life as a game. And there are a lot of secrets, tips, hacks, deeper things that we need to keep understanding about this game. Okay. And the last part of it is, I told you about sorry, I told you about life, and biological supercomputer, which is the mind. Okay. And biological supercomputer mind has two aspects. Okay. I'm just doing a final conclusive conclusion, summarization. Okay. Life is an opportunity to experience a biological supercomputer, which has two um, fundamental components, which is um, logic and emotions. And mind blends these in different percentages to give you different experiences, right? Okay. So one important life event, or one important thing that you need to understand about life is, when you follow one important thing that you need to understand about life, the game of life. Okay. There are two paths. One is safe, one is the safe path, and one is sort of like um, off-roading. Okay. One is a path in which there is light is there, there is a boundary, there is markings are there, lane markings are there, and all the cars in driving in that particular road are following traffic and signals, everything. And there is headlight is on, backlights are on, indicator lights are on, and there are lights, street lights, there are markings on the road. Okay. What does this mean? That when you follow the society given way of life, that means at a certain age you marry, at a certain age you have kids, at a certain age you become a grandfather, right? Every age there is a certain role that is given to you, that you play, and um, you sort of have a certain importance in at every stage of your life, because you're playing the society given path, right? But when you try to not play as per society rules, because which has become the trend right now, because of stupid idiots who think they know a lot about life, and who are sort of independent, want to experience everything without any consequences, want to experience everything without any kind of bondage or any kind of commitments or something like that. All for all those idiots, you need to understand that when you try to start doing off-roading, have stones, mud, uh, means like it can fall anytime. You can, if you're not, suppose you're riding, okay, it's dark. What if you didn't see that there was a large sort of well, and you fall into that, and you just, no one is there around you, and you fall inside and you get damaged, and you hit your head to the inside the well, and you're shouting and no one's around, and you die. That is a possibility when you are riding on the off-roading bike. What else is a possibility? When you're off-roading, you can see a view, a scenery, which will never be seen by a normal married person. What does that mean, Shreyas? That means when you are off-roading, that means when you're solo, when you're not marrying anyone, you don't have any partners, or you're just trying different partners and you're not committed or something. That is off-roading. When you're not marrying, trying different people, you're not committing to some person, right? What does that mean? That is off-roading. That is, you're not following the society given path. What happens that time? What happens is you'll have a lot of extreme experiences, extreme amount of love, extreme amount of passion, extreme amount of sort of pleasure, extreme amount of mental stimulus. Lot of things can happen to you, extreme, I mean something which no one has experienced. When you're not within society boundaries, you are bound to have extreme experience, but those experience will get over. It will it will it will it will complete. How long will you see a beautiful scenery? After some time you will say like, ठीक है ये देख लिया, अब आगे move on करते, now I'll go forward in my journey. And that's when things start to change. When you have extreme high, you will have extreme low. There will be certain days where you will not get food. You saw that scenery, you ate something, and for the next 2 days there is no hotel on the path, and you have already gone 2 days straight. So if you come back, that's another 2 days without food. And you survive without food for the next 2 days, without water for the next 2 days? You tell me. Sometimes people think that being alone they can survive. Yes, Baba, you can survive all your 20s, all your 30s, all your 40s. The moment when you come to your 40 to 50 range, or when you enter your 50s, being alone, and there is not much to do, there is not much happening professionally, that is when the supercomputer, which is your mind and your emotions, this when you start when they start becoming your regular friends, when you start talking to them more than real people. Because when you're alone, you talk to your physical, I mean, when you're alone, you talk with your intellectual body, you talk with your emotional body, you talk about your emotions, you experience your emotions, right? And you're all alone, and all these, only three people are there: your physical body, your emotional body, and your intellectual body. Only these people are there. That time, because there is no role, you're all alone. You have been alone for such a long time that you're not connected to your friends, or you just have your friends who are busy in their life right now. And you don't have any personal relationships, you do not have any children, you do not have any um, so all those things. That time, you start seeing the fun of the biological supercomputer. That is the time when a lot of people start to lose their mind. That is the time when a lot of people start falling into severe emotional, um, traumatic situations. And that is something that I don't want people to experience. That is something that I want to protect people from. That is something that I want people to be aware of, that is the consequence of not living a uh, society given path. This, I also was someone who preferred cool things and certain things, but I'm starting to realize that certain things are in place for some reason. I'm really sorry, but one mistake I have done is that I really doubt um, Gen Z people will have the patience to watch the video till this point. But if they ever did, if someone ever does, they would realize that the off-road path has a lot of consequences. I mean, people choose what you want to choose. Okay, people, correct yourself if you have the chance to correct yourself, because people can re you can always come back to society driven path, always, because that's very safe. And whenever you want to, you can. And As soon as you come to this side, you start to have a role, you start to play a part. And as soon as you have a role, as soon as you have a designation, as soon as you have a role inside the society, things start to fall in place. Your mind knows how to behave. The moment there is no limitation to mind, you cannot handle your own mind. That's what I'm trying to tell you. A mind is a supercomputer, and not everyone, not especially people nowadays, we do not have the capacity to handle our mind in this information age and all this. We don't have the capacity to control our intellect and our emotions. We don't have that capacity. It is better to follow the society and stick to certain safe things and live life in balance rather than chasing certain extreme things in life. Okay, extreme things are one time fun things, one time extreme amount of emotions, extreme, and you'll have to live your life based on that one extreme peak. You experience something, and then you'll have to you'll have to keep chasing that thing, or keep making it better, and keep pushing your life over that thing only. And if you chased some kind of achievement and you don't have any partner, you have to keep on chasing some kind of achievement, some kind of something like that, and keep pushing your life. In marriage there is no extreme, there is no something like that, but there is a whole lot of different roles and experiences and learnings and teachings. Some lot of things are happening in life, and you should understand that the constant pull of marriage, the constant expectations of marriage is something which is saving you, is something which I also understand. I try to keep remembering that, and try to keep convincing myself that yes, this is right. I have experienced myself being on the other side, wherein for some period of for some long periods of time I was pretty much by myself, and that's why I'm able to give this analogy, pretty uh, uh, intimately, personally, right? I'm trying to give you, some, all of this is experience based, understanding based, observation based. It's not something that I'm reading or checking out from somewhere, right? It's putting together certain things from which is happening in life. How I felt when I was all alone for long periods of time, and during that periods of time there were a lot of uh, professional and educational peaks that I had for such a long time. But those peaks did not mean anything, and it did not last, right? And they were no they were also not very well balanced. When you have small insignificant wins within marriage, you celebrate it with a lot of wholesome things in marriage. When you win a small thing, like you won some small wrapper within a small chips packet, you celebrate it so much, right? And sometimes when you're not married, you win a gold medal, okay, there's no one to celebrate. You were able to achieve that because you were all alone, you focused on your study, and there is no one to achieve. It's not wholesome. It's not wholesome, right? Can you get it? It's not complete, it's not wholesome. With logical things there needs to be some kind of emotional thing also, then it's a sort of a complete experience, right? That sort of complete experiences come inside marriage, but they are but they are very uh, average. It will look average. It will look like, oh, you got a new haircut, wow. Oh, these are small wins, right? So average. New haircut, new look, new shirt, wow, small wins, but so complete. Okay, there is a logical thought process that, okay, this time I'll try this haircut. There's a logical aspect to it, and then there is an emotional fun aspect to it, because you come home and everyone is there to celebrate your new hairstyle and something. But with on the other side, when there is no marriage, uh, it doesn't mean as much when someone else is not able to feel, appreciate, accept, or view something that you have done. Okay, and I am just trying to explain the same thing with different examples, but I think you should be able to get it right now. At the end of the thing, what do you say? I would say for everyone, you should choose safe speed, okay, balanced, okay, on track, safe speed experience of life, which is marriage. Don't go for extreme experiences, extreme experiences, extreme intellect, extreme emotions, and huge challenges, fast speed, no marriage or no relationship life. Don't choose that. Choose marriage, which is balanced, on track, safe speed experience of life. Choose marriage is one final message that I would like to give. Thank you, everyone.